Thunder, thunder, Thundercat!
Thunder! Thunder! Thunder!
Hey, how are you? I'm Larry Kenny, the voice of Lion-O, here today for my good friends Ryan and David. You may know if you listen to the podcast Radical Retro Rewind.
I love it. All of it.
Radical Retro Rewind.
She even looks older.
You like my art collection?
Yeah, we've heard that one before, Mummy.
What is it? I heard him shout.
Oh yeah, Thundercats! Ho!
Who you calling a hoe?
Welcome back, bunglers, to another episode of the Radical Retro Rewind podcast, Thundercats Reviews. As always, I am your host, Radical Ryan Hunter, here with everyone's favorite brother, David. And today we have an amazing special guest, the author of Hall of Omens, the unauthorized ultimate guide to Thundercats Toys and Beyond, and the host of the Claw Machine Challenge, Sean Buddha McKeone.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for
Sean.
being here.
Oh,
so,
of course.
I just wanted to thank you again off the bat. You have a busy schedule for our listeners. Sean is been on a very long and a successful book tour, and he's generously, right there, generously offered to speak with us about the book. And I also wanted to say that I've had a chance to review the book and read it, and it doesn't disappoint. And when you say ultimate, you really do mean ultimate. The information alone, the imagery, it had to have been an enormous undertaking. So really excited to speak with you today.
Oh, again, thank you guys for having me. I know we've been talking about this for I think since March is when we actually talked about it. Give or take sometime around there, if not earlier, maybe been even earlier than that. And I know trying to get together was kind of like, we thought we had a date, then I screwed it up because I ended up having to do another thing. And so I'm very happy to finally be here. Again, I'm sorry it took so long because I know we were trying to get us for right when the book released, and here we are a month later. But again, thank you for dealing with the schedules and whatnot.
Oh, of course. No, thank you. We're very flexible with that, so we totally understand, and we don't want to hold you back from, like you said, going around showing people this beautiful book. So,
well, again, thank you for the kind words on the book. Honestly, that means the world to me. And I know I'm the face of it, but the other guys that helped me with the book, they watch all these, and they've never done a book either. Neither have I. Neither have they. Our photographer, he's done some catalog work and stuff like that.
Okay,
but once he actually got to hold the book itself, there was a smile that he got. He's not one of those guys that gets excited about that type of stuff, likes to show emotion like that. But you could see there was a little something click, wow, this is kind of cool. He got to see all the work and everything, and have it in his hands, and it was just cool for him seeing that. So again, thank you on behalf of everyone involved, I want to say thank you guys again for the kind words and everything you've been saying about the book. So thank you. And also for sharing it on your social media. I can't thank you enough for that, man. I cannot thank you enough.
This book literally has popping up. If you are a Thundercats fan and you are on Instagram, you will see this beautiful, again, the cover art. I mean, I can't stop.
Oh,
the cover art alone, gorgeous. Stands out.
Sorry, I apologize. See, I get excited. I just started
no, that's great.
Conversation.
No problem at all.
The cover art, again, that's the one I have to thank Kyle Lambert. He did such an amazing job. If you're not familiar with Kyle Lambert, he is the artist on Stranger Things. He did The Boys, One Piece. He does so much work, and he was a friend. And I told him very early on that I was thinking about doing this book, and I won't get into the huge story behind it, but I had no idea Kyle Lambert was Kyle Lambert while I was talking to him, because I was talking to him from his personal little collection page.
That's amazing.
And then he was like, well, I'd do a cover for you. And I was like, okay, cool. And then he sent me his personal page. I was like, wait, what? Oh my God. Yes, well, please. And I can't thank Kyle enough. He's been fantastic. We went back and forth with ideas. He was able to fit it into his schedule is insane. If I think I've got a busy schedule, that's nothing compared to what he's doing. The guy's working for Netflix, Marvel stuff, Amazon, all these different things. And he was able to fit this into his schedule. And it was, again, Kyle did an amazing job, and it wowed me. It makes the book an entirely different entity. It's so like, wow, dude, like, wow. Like, that's my opinion at least, but I absolutely love it. I can't thank Kyle
it's
enough for that.
fantastic. It's fantastic.
It captures the spirit, of course, of the action figures.
Yes.
Those colors that we're so used to now, the oranges, the reds, that the mountain range and things like that.
Yes.
So it's gorgeous. And it's a testament, too, of your passion that somebody wants to do a cover for your book.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. He's a huge Thundercats fan himself. I don't know if you're familiar with Kyle or if you follow his pages, but like Thundercats, I think it's like Thundercats and Jurassic Park are like his two things.
Yes. As a matter of fact, is his icon Cat's Lair?
Yes. Yep.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The action figure creative, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. I know. I'm not spilling the beans. He lets people know that's him. So but yeah, that was him, and he's a huge Thundercats fan. And that's why I love being able to include the interview with Kyle in the book too, because it was giving him the chance to actually talk about his passion for Thundercats, which was, one of the things I was trying to do throughout the book, show everyone's passion that was involved with it, which is really cool.
I have to agree 100% because having that in the book, means a lot. Actually means a lot to us because that's why we do our podcast.
Yeah.
So.
That's Thundercat fans. Like, obviously, I can see behind me, like, so I collect Thundercats. I only collect Thundercats.
Okay, that was one of our questions. So purely Thundercats.
Purely Thundercats. Nothing else. Like, no offense to the other franchises or brands. It was just Thundercats was always my thing. And the one thing I've learned, or like seen over the years too, Thundercat fans are some of the most passionate fans of any franchise. Like, and which is weird considering that we don't have much to go on. You know what I mean? We've got, the 80s
very
show,
true.
And the 2011, now we have the Super 7 stuff, but they are passionate. And that was one of the great things about doing this too. Like, since the book has been released, I should say, because I didn't know if people were going to care about it. Like, that was kind of like, didn't know, okay, I'm doing a book, but I don't know if 20 people are going to buy it or if one person's going to buy it or what. But the positive feedback it's been like overwhelming because I wasn't expecting it at all. And it's been incredible. Like, again, just the passion from everybody has been amazing. It's honestly overwhelming. And it's like hard to put into words. Like, wow, totally unexpected. And it's been amazing. I want to keep saying amazing over and over.
No, it is amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah. And it's something that off camera, David and I were talking about because on one of your final page in the book, you have this beautiful summary of really the fandom and the community, like you're saying. And it's such a loyal, like you're saying, we have the TV shows, we have the figures and now, like you said, the Super 7 and the comic book. But it's a loyal fan community that has lasted this many years, and the passion is just amazing.
Yeah, like I know, I don't know if it's happened to you guys, but so I've met several people. Just if I'm like wearing this shirt. Funny enough, I was wearing this shirt at the gym one day, and literally, someone came up to me, "Oh man, I love the shirt," and we still talk. Like we're like now gym friends.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
There are two guys at the gym that I would always see. They were like DC, Marvel stuff. The one time, one of them was wearing a Thundercats shirt. And I just walked up to him. I was like, yo, man, I love the shirt. Now, we are still good friends. They came out to one of the toy shows I did a couple of weeks ago.
That's beautiful.
And again, just literally knowing that other people are fans, it really connects other people. Like, there's this, my one buddy, Craig. He is a Kriegermeister, I think, on Instagram. We had no idea who each other were. We were literally, I was at a toy convention with somebody else. He was there with somebody else. Then they're like, oh, you got to meet my buddy Craig. So we went off to a side. I was supposed to be selling at the guys at the BOD with their table with them for an hour. We were standing in a hallway talking about Thundercats. And we had just met each other, had no idea, just literally geeking out, going down the holes of our fandom with each other,
Because I think it's like seeing a unicorn in a way, like another Thundercats fan, because again, yes, the fandom is strong. I mean, clearly we could sell out things and,
We're out there. We're out there.
Right.
But you're right. It's not a DC. It's not a Marvel. It's not even He-Man Motu, which is actually one of the questions I was thinking of with this book, because so many years we have, and I mean, we love He-Man on this show, but He-Man has about 1 million books for collecting, comic books, every action figure guide you can think of.
Right.
And Thundercats, we have yours book, thankfully, now, but there's nothing out there for, Hear the Roar, of course, which you know,
a fantastic book, by the way. I mean, I know for the show, for the cartoon and series itself, Hear the Roar, you cannot get a better book than Hear the Roar, because there is so much cool stuff in there. I actually got to speak with David.
True.
We got to exchange emails a couple times through the process of me writing this book. Such a nice guy.
David Crichton, I believe the name is?
Yes, David Crichton. Yeah. And again, we just spoke briefly, and he was such a cool guy, down to answer any questions that I had. Like, I wasn't able to include anything in this book, but like, it was more about, I had questions about him about the process of writing the book, because like you said, like, there were no Thundercats books other than his. So I didn't know, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. So it was cool getting to talk to him, like, back and forth a little bit about, hey man, so this is what I'm doing. I also wanted to let him know, like, I'm not trying to step on your toes, man. What you did is, like, it's a masterpiece for the series. Like, what I'm doing is basically for the toys and other aspects. I'm not trying to encroach on what you did, like, because it's so good.
But we were lacking. We needed something like that. So was that one of, besides the passion for Thundercats, was that one of the main factors for you to actually make the book?
So 100%. I obviously being the fan and knowing there's Transformers books, there's G.I. Joe books, there's the He-Man books, there's everything has a book, but Thundercats didn't. And it was like, there's so many collectors. Again, I know I'm friends with a lot of like guys and like the like toy sellers and stuff like that. And whenever they get Thundercats, they go like that. It's not like they're always going, like, whenever you go to a toy show, people are always coming over looking for Thundercats, asking for Thundercats, whatever it is. So it's like, again, the passion is there, but there was no book for it. And again, having the collection, it's kind of, a lot of collectors too, like, they'll talk about like, oh man, you should do a museum or you should do a book. And that was kind of what started this idea years before I even started it, because it was like, I've got everything. And like, I know you follow my collection page too, the Hall of Omens page. It's like, that was me getting to share it with everybody too, because I've got, I can do the merchandise, I do all the weird stuff that, a lot of people have never seen before.
Truly. Oh my goodness, truly.
And that's what I wanted to do with the, with the book too. This is where this kind of goes, not the deep part of the book, but okay, we all know we're all getting older, like, I know I'm getting older and life happens. So there's a lot of people that collect.
Apart.
Yeah, right? But like, a lot of people collect, and they collected for a long time, but then they had to sell their collection, or, they were moving into a new place, or they were having a kid, or whatever it was. Life happens. And you still love that you got to do it. You still have the passion for it. But I was like, this is still a way you can have the old collection that you had.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It was like, then it doesn't take up an entire room. It doesn't take up a whole shelf. It's a little thing on the shelf you can open up and look back at, that day you're thinking about Thundercats because you heard, oh, there's a movie coming out. Oh, there's a comic book out. I used to have these toys. Cool. Like, and I wanted to do that for other fans and whatnot. Because I know, again, I've been collecting for a long time, but I know how life goes. Eventually, I'm going to have to sell the collection. Like, it's just how life goes. And I know that. I'm not at that point yet, thankfully, but eventually that'll happen. Yeah. And it's like, here's my way for even me to still have the collection without having the collection,
Wow. So, speaking of that, though, I mean, I know it's fantastic. You definitely, note if anyone brings a prototype into the book or anything like that, but is the majority of everything that's not labeled as, somebody else's, is this all yours?
The majority, yes. There are some photos throughout, like, obviously all the prototypes I have labeled are with individual people. But like, there's the one guy in the additional credits, Lee John Dunford. He gave a couple of photos throughout that were just kind of like on, like, I know it's like the unpainted Tigra back, because I had the figure not in my possession. It was at my friend in the UK, and I was trying to get him to send it, and he's like, okay. And Matt Irvin, I love you. You're amazing, but you had it for like 4 years before you sent it. And that was the one thing I was like, dude, I'm working on the Tiger page. I need it. I hit Lee and he sent it right to me. So there's a few things throughout that and a couple of like the random variations that aren't from my collection. But actually, I don't know if I can, if you look here, there's like the majority of the stuff figure wise was mine, and it's also a lot of the Thundercats live items in the back. The burger, something like the Burger King merchandise, like that was mine. The stuff that I was actually like from the Burger King store, that was Andy Cook. He's mentioned in the book, and that was like he also provided a couple of photos earlier in it. But again, there's a lot of people that helped, but I will say again, minus the prototypes, because the prototype stuff that's a league I can't get into because of just the cost of that stuff. So a lot of people helped on that end, but a good amount of the stuff was mine. But yes, there was a lot of help. I know when you see the additional photo credits, that's like a paragraph worth of people. Like that was a lot of people helped with that. Like Salim Salik, amazing collector. I don't know if you follow him. Online.
Yes.
He absolutely incredible. He sent some photos. Again, I can just read the list of everybody, but a lot of the foreign stuff actually came from other people as well. Because I've got a couple figures from the Argentina line and a couple figures from Venezuela, but other collectors really stepped in to be like, oh no, here you go, here you go, here you go. And that's why I tried to give them all credit throughout it. And I tried to make sure, where I could, where it wasn't like the Lee John Dunford with like the tiger back. It just wasn't going to fit on the picture in order to get it in there. But I wanted to make sure to get everybody credit. And that was one thing I wanted to do too for the the Thundercats community, to show everybody, because a lot of people don't realize how large the community is, because unless you like follow the Instagram, you follow Facebooks or whatever it is, you don't realize it. So I wanted to show people like, look how many people were a part of this. Like, there's all these people that love this and want to do this kind of thing. Like, there's more of us out there. There really is. So,
I wonder if it's like you said it perfectly when something Thundercat shows up, it flies. I wonder if it's too if it was like a lacking, because again, to invoke He-Man, it was mass produced on top of mass produced. So it does seem like LJN, like the line was at least less than what Mattel was putting out, because all you see is He-Man figures.
Oh yeah, well He-Man, I think He-Man had like a larger run too, because
longer too, right.
The Thundercats really only had like a 3-year period, and then Ninja Turtles came out and kicked everyone's butt,
and still,
oh
my goodness,
here we are 40 years later, and it's still going, kicking everyone's butt. But I think that was I think Mattel probably put a lot more stuff out, and I don't know. Again, I forget the years of He-Man, but
I want to say like 82 to 89.
Well, I know Thundercats knocked He-Man from the #1 spot. I know that. So probably if it was like 82 to like 85, I know again that's only 3-4 years, however it went. But I feel as though Mattel really like flooded it. Like, okay, obviously mass producers, millions of the things made or whatever. But say for the million Thundercats that were made, there was probably 10 million of the Mattel pushed out. Again, I'm just making up numbers, but that's my feeling of it.
It could have been too because of, I mean, especially with our main characters like Lion-O and Mumra had the light up eyes feature, which is I'm sure it's harder to produce than just a He-Man and a Skeletor. Something like that. So I could imagine.
Oh, yeah. Well, then even just the figures themselves, they were all like a different sculpt, where He-Man was like the same body over and over and over, except for
the
feet
squat
mixed here.
Say.
Right. So, I imagine the LJN, I know LJN put a lot of money into what they were doing. And I mean, it shows, because nothing was reused, other than the variation stuff, but it'd be like, the Lion-O different color or whatever. But it would still the bodies were all different, the arms, the everything. The battle actions were all different. Well, I know there was an arm or both arms, but still, they were all, they tried to switch it up when they could.
But you're right. The fact that even I remember in the Hear the Roar book, that there was, like you're saying, there was a different sculptor almost for each figure, which is amazing. Amazing.
Oh, yeah. Like, I know one of the guys, Burt Brooks, that did a lot of the sculpts. I know Hayes actually, so while doing this book, like I was familiar with the name again, even from the Hear the Roar book. That's where I kind of learned a lot of the sculptors' names.
Yes.
I started doing more research on Burt because, again, I kind of became like an investigative reporter throughout this entire project.
I
for
believe
the book,
it.
Joe and and like when I started learning about Burt, it was like, oh, okay, cool, he did Thundercats. But I started seeing all the other lines that he was a part of. Like he was on My Little Pony, Care Bears, was it Gremlins, like Rocky. He did because he was a freelance sculptor where a lot of people, he basically influenced everyone's childhood from, our age range, and no one has any idea. So one of the things I wanted to get into the book, I wanted to kind of do like not a memorial, because he had passed away a few years back, but I wasn't able to do it how I really wanted to do it in this book. So hopefully in the future, that's all I'm going to say. Hopefully in the future, I'll be able to do something that kind of at least gives Burt gives him some credit for what he did and for how long he did it. And have been so influential on so many lives. Here we are 40 years later. And unfortunately, he passed before he really got to see the everlasting part of it. Obviously, he was around while it was, the number one toys in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. But seeing the long term where it's like people still love the stuff that he was associated with.
You're right, Sean, because it's like you could look at one of those figures, like the ones you have behind you, and there's a childhood memory locked into that specific figure and the time in your life. So that's beautiful. And that's sad. I wish he would have been able to see his legacy.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I understand he was also involved with different lines and stuff, so he possibly got to see it. I know in the the 80s when he was really doing the stuff, he was already, I believe he was in his 60s. So he was already a bit older, so he really didn't get to see a lot of, again, I forget when he passed. I think it was in the early 2000s or whatever. But, Thundercats had a little bit of a resurgence, but the toy stuff didn't. It was still a very, people, there were some collectors, not a lot. It wasn't nearly like it is now. So it really is a shame he didn't get to see kind of, again, just that influence that he had on so many people's lives. That, again, a continuing influence.
Oh, beautifully said. But the book will be a legacy and a treasure trove for fans to remember these things like that.
Thank you. I hope it is. Again, that's incredible that you'd say that, because working on it, I never could have imagined that somebody would call it that. You know what I mean? But thank you. That means the world to me. And hopefully, again, I hope other people feel the same way about it. And, hopefully Burt's family, I know some of, maybe they'll get to see it and get to see, my dad did this, or, you know what I mean? I think that would be really cool.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I want to touch quickly because you have, again, Thundercats fans, I can't even tell you what is in this, even down to the foreign releases like we were mentioning earlier. Mm-hmm. But we always knew that. Honestly,
every figure put out, every single one, every known variation. No, I say known because variations always keep popping up every now and then. So
the talking Panthro, that blew my mind.
Right, that is such a cool piece. Such a cool piece.
Blew my mind. So along that lines, I always knew that we had these prototypes, right? And there's the ones that weren't released. But when I saw things like Red Eye's card art, it got that far, or Tugma, because we're on season 2 currently in the show, so we're talking a lot about the Lunatics.
I love the Lunatics. Chilla, my favorite Lunatic. I love Chilla and Alluro.
Oh, that's perfect. We were going to ask you what your favorite.
Perfect. Sorry, I beat you to it.
Chilla is fantastic. We have a lot of fun with her on this.
I love Chilla. I'm very excited Super 7's doing Chilla, and I know they're probably not, but I would love. The name of her little vehicle, I would love to have that. Would love it. Because to me, if you have Mandora and the Electrocharger, you need Chilla and that thing. I'm probably one of a handful of people that believe that, but I really hope Super 7 does that.
It's so
we
funny.
Just did an episode. Yeah, Mandora pulled Chilla over.
Yes, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, that was a classic.
Oh, it's so good.
So the Mad Bubbler, I feel like, is a famous prototype, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So one of our, matter of fact, you were spoken about making friends. One of our friends on this show, Zach, he's become a guest. He became a friend. So when we were talking about the Mad Bubbler, one of the things that came up, we've kind of deduced maybe it wasn't actually produced because they couldn't work out the feature for the bubbling mechanism. Do you actually know anything about like something like that, or was it just
So here's what I know.
Okay.
Now again, obviously I'm not the end all be all of resources. I've talked,
you're pretty close up there. I mean,
like, I've talked to people with LJN, and obviously they remember the Mad Bubbler. That was one of their favorite ones, like to actually work on and whatnot. From what I understand, it basically, like, even Red Eye, why Red Eye didn't happen, all the stuff was moving along because by that point the toy lines and stuff were losing steam, so they couldn't put money into the stuff, so that's why it just didn't end up basically continuing. Like, so since the book has come out, a collector that currently has another Mad Bubbler prototype, it's an unpainted one that actually has the mechanics in it, has made contact with me on Instagram. And we've been talking, so I was familiar with that. And there's also another Mad Bubbler prototype that's out there that's a totally different design, like totally different. Now, I'd seen photos because I used to be on all the message boards back in the day. I don't know if you used to go to them. I used to be on them, and I had seen the photos and stuff like that. And it's like, unfortunately, where it's like with the book, like I would have loved to include them, but I can't just grab photos offline and post them into things.
Yes.
So trying to find out who had this stuff from a post from 15 years ago was, while I did investigative reporting for this thing, I'm not that good. I could not find out people like, insert name here, who he was on the message board. But but either way, so I knew these things existed. But see, he actually has the work. Well, I don't know if it's working. I don't know if he actually worked it. But it's unpainted. It has the actual mechanics and stuff in there that you can push the head down, and there's like the little I don't know the proper terminology, so I'm going to say like the plastic accordion looking piece.
Yes, it does look like an accordion. Yeah,
like that piece that would technically, you push it down, then bubble. Like, I don't know the actual workings, but then that would technically make it work. So it did go down the line. Like it was in the line to be produced. But I think it was just, again, the toy line started running out of steam as far as funds. The cartoon started running out of steam. So that's why they ended up having to basically cancel the things that they ended up, they had like the Tug Mug wax thing.
That blew my mind.
They hired people to do it, but because, they had to be ready. It was like, okay, well, if you don't know what's going on in the future, you have to act like the toy line's going on. So they had to have all these things going. But then it got to the point where I was like, all right, we just either the cartoon was canceled or they knew it was going to be canceled, and they just had to go ahead and stop production of wherever things were.
So the wax, I believe it's even in the book, it says something like, is it a Loro that also might have a prototype out there?
Yes. I know. So I have seen it. It's absolutely incredible. So here's the thing with actually I do want to put this out there, is give a thank you to the people that did this. There are collectors who contributed to the book that didn't want their name within the book. Like they didn't want the thank you. There are, because they're private. They don't really want that type of thing. They don't want people to be. They don't want the messages like, "Hey, you selling that?" Like, and I get it.
You have a Loro?
Exactly.
Give it to me.
Like, yeah, and I totally understand that, and I totally appreciate the fact that they would contribute what they did contribute for the book, without getting an actual hey, thank you. I don't understand. But I know the collector that currently has that one, he wasn't really interested in showing that one.
Wow.
Which I get it. He let me see it with my own eyes, which absolutely blew my mind, because it was like I had seen the Tug Mug, I knew about that one, but he was like, oh yeah, well there's a Loro too. I was like, wait, what? And he showed me it, and it was absolutely amazing. And so that was there isn't a Loro out there. It's an incredible piece. It's as an Loro fan, it's absolutely incredible piece. we'll see. Maybe one day it'll come to light. I don't know if he ever ends up selling it or if he decides he wants to share it, whatever it is. But it's out there and it's awesome. It really is awesome.
Do you think there's still prototypes that people don't know about, or is it pretty much at this point? Because like I said, the fact that you even Tugmug, oh Lord, I had no idea.
So here, I don't know. Seeing how things go, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some stuff out there. Like, even if you saw the artwork. So I was actually talking with Kevin Maurer, and we did the interviews. He was in the book and everything. Then I sent him out the copy of the book, and then he hit me back. He loved it. Nothing but kind words about it. And he was like, "Just so you know," he's like, "I actually have more artwork that you don't have in the book." Wow. And I was like, he sent me a lot of stuff. And I don't think he knew how I was going to go about it. He didn't know what it was going to turn out to be and how I put it all together. And the fact that he's open to sharing more, it's incredible. So I don't know what that, when we continue talking, I don't know what's going to be found. You know what I mean? It might be for pieces that already exist. It might be, the artwork for some things, or it may be stuff that has never seen the light of day that were just ideas that haven't come about. I don't know. But yeah, I look forward to future conversations with Kevin, with Jose, with some other people from LJN and other collectors. Because I know, again, there's collectors out there. The prototype collector community has a lot of stuff that people have no idea about. And I knew nothing about the actual prototype collector community until I started doing research for this. It makes sense that there would be that type of community out there.
Yeah.
I just had no idea. And it was like, wow, you guys have some stuff.
Truly.
Yeah.
Wow. So based off of the success of your book right now, and are we possibly seeing a companion piece to this?
So I don't want to get ahead of myself, because
I know, but
that's where, even with this book, why we got very limited numbers, because like I said, I know I've said this before. I probably said it 100 times, so forgive me for saying it again on this, since I've already said it. But we didn't know if we were going to sell 20 books, and we sold 20 books in the first hour of the pre-order.
Wow,
so it's
amazing!
Blown away our expectations, but we ordered a low amount because I was like, I don't have room to have, a ton of books filling up my garage that are going to end up being thrown in the fire to keep me warm later, if nobody wanted them. But so I'll say this. Obviously, it takes a very long time for the actual process of the book to go from the sending it to the factories and all that. I've been collecting information and working on things as if there would be another something.
Okay.
Now, what that is, I don't know. It may not come to be. I don't know. Again, it'll kind of still dictate on if people want it. You know what I mean? And if I know the guys that work with me with the book, we have talked about it. They are interested because of how things have gone so far. Again, we don't know yet, because I've got my ideas. I know what I would like to do and how I would like to go about it. But again, we're not quite there yet. We may end up doing a second printing of the first edition, because we we're very low on the quantity that we have now, because we, again, sold way more than we expected, and we're getting down to we don't have many at all left. And I know even through the spring and summer, I've got events I'm supposed to be at, so I'm going to need more books. So we are looking into doing that. And if that happens, there's not going to be any changes other than a photo here or there. Nothing major, just little there's a little typo here and there.
Right.
Nothing monumental change wise. Again, if it happens, which we kind of have to make that decision in the next couple weeks in order for me to have them for the events I'm already know I'm supposed to be at, and there's possibly some more things in the down the line that I might be at. So it's I can't go there with one book. It will be kind of pointless, And it wouldn't be pointless, but I feel bad if they're like, oh yeah, the whole Omens book, get it here, you're gonna be here. And then I'm like, hey guys, I got one book. Be cool? Like,
Fight for it, fight for it.
Yeah, fight.
Yeah, right. But there are ideas as far as back to your original question. I know I get sidetracked and go off.
No problem at all.
But I've got ideas, and there's been talks, but nothing official as of yet. But tell you what, when I know for sure, you'll be getting a message from me, and I will let you know.
We'd love that. We would
you.
love that. And actually, matter of fact, since you have we were going to ask you about Super 7 and your feelings for that. Would you, I mean, I guess it's hard too, because Super 7 is going to continuously put out figures every other month, it seems like. But
exactly,
would you in the future maybe make it like a modern, like the 2011?
So, like, here's the thing with the Super 7. I know a lot of people have asked why Super 7 like wasn't in it, or if it was in it. And I know, as you know, it's the Super 7 isn't in it. But like you said, it's because it's an ongoing line. So, and by the time the book would be able to be put out, there'd probably be like 2 or 3 lines that would be released that weren't
right
in the book.
Now. I feel like they're renouncing something every day. It's like a new figure.
Exactly. So now here's the thing. Like, as you can see, I love the line. I've got everything. The only thing I don't have, I wasn't able to get in for the Cat's Lair just because financially all of my money was in the book, so I wasn't able to go in on that. And I'm missing the Neon Chitara figure. I don't have that one. But I've got everything
the glow,
else.
The speed glow Chitara or something like that. We call her the gold Chitara here.
Yeah, no, exactly. that one. I'm missing that one. But here's the thing. Like, I love the Super 7 line. I love what they're doing with it. I love the accessories that they added with everything. This is really filling out the line. Now, I would love to do something like that, but Super 7 might be doing that on their own. You know what I mean? Like, who knows where they get? I know. I know the guys from Super 7 did pick up a copy of my book. They, one of the guys.
I'm glad they did, because I mean, it's gorgeous. But yes, I'm glad they did.
Well, thank you again, thank you. But yeah, like, for all I know, here, like, I personally would absolutely love to do a book based with the Super 7 stuff down the line, because I think right now they still have like 3 years worth of waves, basically, kind of, because I think didn't they say they have the wave like 15 planned right now, and probably like 2 or 3 in the works. So I mean, it would be years before that could possibly be done, because the line, in my opinion, in order to do that book, the line would have to be done. Like, no more stuff would have to be coming out in order to do it. Like, from the first to the end, you need everything. But like, I would love to do it. That is, if they might be doing one. So if they're doing it, I'd love to see what they do, because they'd have obviously more access to information that I wouldn't be able to have. Like, they'd have that type of stuff. So I would love to see if they're doing one, what they're able to do. Or Super 7, if you're watching, I would love to do a book with you in the future about the Super 7 line. If you're interested, just putting it out there. But yeah, no, I would either way, if it wasn't me, I'd love to see someone do it, because their figures are great. And I think, again, like, it should be in a book form. Like, it really is a cool line to see everything.
And even the evolution from when they were at Mattel for a little while with the Matty Collector versions, and then they re-released them and things like that. Speaking of your collection.
Yes.
Do you have one item that you look at and you go, my goodness, like, I am the owner of this item? And
I mean, honestly, like, there's a lot of those for me.
I can imagine.
Like, because how it would go, like, something would be like my Holy Grail piece, and then after years of wanting it and looking for it, I would get it. So then there had to be the next Holy Grail piece for me. You know what I mean? But I mean, honestly, like, it's a shame. Like, so here, tell you what, next time I've got my collection room back in order, if you want, I can do like a little walkthrough and show you.
Oh my God, we would love that.
Thank you.
Because I would love to do it right now, but stuff is like, it's everywhere. It's a total mess. Okay, actually, I do have one that I could show. They're actually in the book, so you'll see the Thundercat mini prototypes. Those are ones that, to me, again, I could probably name 15 different, like, oh my God, I can't believe I have it. But the fact that they exist, like, because those were ones no one even thought would be around anymore. It was one of those things where you didn't even think of because you haven't seen them in 40 years. The
Right.
fact that that exists and that I got that and how I found it, I just found it as they weren't being sold as prototypes. The guy was just selling them as what it was. And I was like, I shot an offer to him. I don't get me wrong, I paid a lot for him because he still knew it was a boxed what it was. And I was just like, wow. I as soon as I saw the Tigra to me was something for years. I was like, man, I've got to own that Tigra. I gotta own it. Like, I gotta find it. And then I saw it, and I was like, holy crap. Sorry, had to censor myself there.
Like you had this moment of like light came down.
Yeah, I was like, there it is. That's it. Oh my God. Like, it was worth the shot for me to see if it was it or not. Because I was like, well, it's a lot of money, and if this guy just 3D printed it, I just throw a whole lot of money out for nothing.
Which I could imagine is a new issue in the collecting community, 3D printing.
Yeah. And then when I got it, I sent pictures out to people. I actually went out to Jordan Hembro's shop in New Jersey and had him look at them. And even he was like, yeah, nope, these are prototypes. He's like, you can tell by the feel and everything. Then again, I didn't just go by him. I talked to other different prototype people and stuff like that. And the amount of work I did to make sure it's exactly what it was, then that's the incredible part. Is like, wow, this is actually it. This is the things that are on the back of the card. When you see all the mini advertisements, this is it. That still is kind of amazing to me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh my God, we have so many. We'll have to have you back if you will have us, because we have so many.
Here's the thing too. I can stay a little longer because I know I talk a lot. So I know you had a bunch of questions and you've asked like 3, and I've been
no, we're enjoying this.
That's amazing. That's the stuff, it just comes out what you're feeling. So just to quickly go back to your intro, when we mentioned the claw machine challenge.
Yes.
Now this is something, and David and I are huge animal lovers, so it's right up our alley. Yeah. Everything won is donated to animal shelters and animal rescues all over the country. That's right. Beautiful.
Yes. So that was one. So the things that are won. So a lot of places don't actually accept stuffed animals. So basically what it was, some of them do, some don't, because some materials, they don't want the animals like eating and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
So, which I totally get. So what I ended up doing, I literally bought hundreds of like dog toys and animal and cat toys and stuff that can be donated. So say we won 10 things on the show, 10 that I made the pile, 10 of these toys would then go to whichever. But I basically would, after a couple shows, as opposed to sending like 8 boxes with 4 things here, 5 things there, I'd pile them all up for this one,
makes
for whatever
sense.
shelter would be. And then that would get sent out. But that was one of the things. Again, I love animals. I don't know if it was Thundercats that really started that in me when I was a kid. I don't know, because I love cats. I love dogs also, but I love animals. And it's great seeing now a lot of like animal shelters being able to get, like, I saying get rid of is a horrible way to put it, but like being able to adopt the animals that they're adopting. Like, so many people now are really into animals more so than they were in the 90s and everything. Like, everybody wants a pet. Every family has a pet. So it's great seeing that. So, but it was always very sad to me where, again, there are still shelters with pets and animals that are just there. And these shelters need things years. Like, yeah. And I know everyone's like, oh, why don't you donate food? Like, a lot of people donate food. And if you know me, I'm all about like fun, laughing and stuff like that. And that was one of the things that obviously all those Sarah McLachlan commercials, they bring the hard things. All the animals are sad. You're like, oh my God.
The worst.
I hate seeing it. Like, I love it, but hate it. But I really hate it. Is like, at least with the toys, being a toy collector, being in the toy community, animals like toys too. Like, every dog owner has a box full of toys that their dog will pick one that day or that week, and I'll be their toy for the week. And like, cats go crazy with toys. Every animal loves toys. And that was kind of my idea, to bring some fun and like fun for them. You know what I mean? Beautiful. Like, get them happy as they're stuck where they are until they find their forever home. And or like, I don't know. Well, then what the shelters do with it? Maybe they give it to the people that take them. That adopt them. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but that was my idea, to bring some fun and joy to the animals that are still currently in the shelters and stuff like that.
That's beautiful. That's because there's so many, I feel like, charities that will make, and it's wonderful, donate to children's hospitals and things like that.
Yes,
but the animals kind of always, especially like you're saying, toys, I feel like I never hear people say donate toys to animal shelters.
Exactly.
So that's amazing.
Yeah. And I know, like, a lot of shelters, obviously, the first thing they say, well, oh, food, this and that, because obviously, yes, food is a big thing. And I understand that. And a lot of them, though, when you look at, like, what they accept for donations and stuff, will have toys on there. It may not be the number one thing, but yeah, it's not something you think, it's like you said, it's not something you think about to donate. Like, it's just kind of because, and again, it was just my idea to possibly lighten up the lives of the animals. So get them some fun, let them run around and play, whatever it is, like, or gnaw at the bone thing. I don't know, whatever they have fun doing,
And are the players basically competing to see how many toys they could get or something like that?
Yeah. So within the Claw Machine Challenge, it's basically me going up against, well, there's also my friend Desiree. She did this, a bunch of them as well. So I will say, so some of them got a little, I don't want to say risque, but they were definitely not for the children's eyes and ears. But like, again, a lot of my friends don't have the mouths that are PG or G. And, but yeah, so the idea was, it was kind of like basically me getting to also interview these people while we're playing back and forth on a claw machine.
Love it.
The idea is to win as much as you possibly can. And it was kind of like, one of the things was like, okay, everyone knows Hot Ones. So there's an interview going on while they're trying to do something else. And then you start to get, here's the thing, I've always been very, not to pat my own back here, but I was always very good at claw machines. That's how this idea came about. And, I was in a band on tour. I'd always do the claw machines at gas stations at 1 a.m. because there's nothing else to do. Like, we'd have girls that, like, were on the tour with us. I'd win stuff for them. It was always a thing. That's how that kind of came about. And where it's like, well, okay, I can interview people while we're playing. Well, again, it was a toy related thing where everyone knows claw machines, no matter how old you are. If you're a kid, if you're in your 80s, like, there have been times I was at a Walmart and people would walk by. They were literally they were retired. They were in their 80s and they were older. And, I'm all tattooed. I don't know if you've seen older photos of me when I had my spiky, crazy hair.
Yes,
and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, I was not always the guy you'd expect some people to come up and talk to, or you'd look at me like, oh, stay away from that guy. But if I was there playing a claw machine, people would stop and watch. And that happened there was a guy, again, I'm going to say probably it had to be late 70s, maybe even the 80s. He was like an old army guy, had the army hat on and everything. He was there with his wife, and they both stopped, and they're watching me. And, I don't always care. Like, I'll talk to him or whatever. And the guy was like, I've never seen anyone win at these. And then I happened to win. And then the wife was like, oh, my God, I've never seen anyone win. This is so cool. Then I offered to give it to him because I would just play for the fun of it. It wasn't really about winning whatever was there. It was just kind of the fun of playing it. And then once they're doing that, that was one of the things I would always start doing. Like, if the little kid's watching, it was like, here you go, do you want it? And then, like, either the mom or dad would, yeah, sure, or not. But it was one of those things that everyone can relate with because people have always tried to win their significant other a thing on a claw machine as you're walking by because they like the whatever's in there. It's like, oh, the penguin. I want the purple penguin. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can get it. If you're on the date or if you're just on your Sunday Walmart run or you're on the boardwalk or whatever it is. So, like, everyone could relate playing those. So I was like, all right, you know what? Let's do this. And then it was fun to get to interview the guys because, as you can see in the book, where I try to give credit to everybody.
Yes.
Doing the interview with people was my way of getting them to showcase who they are and what they're doing. Like, you see me on all of them. I'm always there. You don't need to know about me. You know what I'm doing. I'm there with these people playing a claw machine. They're like, who are you? Let's talk about you. And it was fun watching, like, on Hot Ones, where there's the interview going on, but then they're focusing on the hot wings and stuff. And it was like, well,
and burning.
Right? And then as people start playing the claw machine, they're answering these questions, but then the competitive nature starts coming out, because a lot of people can relate with this. When you're playing the claw machine, there's that one thing you almost got. It's like, all right, I'm going to put another $1 in. I can get it this time. Okay, I'm going to get it this next time. And that would start coming out as we were playing. So it was fun seeing them try to do an interview while they're focused on trying to get whatever this cool toy is, whatever it was. Again, it would just bring out the competitive nature of people, which is fun seeing, which was kind of an unexpected thing that came out while doing it. It was very, I found it to be fun.
You're right. There is that, again, with the hot ones, there's that fun aspect of you're doing this, but you're concentrating and you're still getting to know the person while doing this.
Yeah.
So that's genius. I think that's a genius idea.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But I know, so it has been on hold for a little bit because, it was just financially, if you saw from the things that I put in the machine, that was all stuff, like, I tried to include cool stuff too. It wasn't just like the stereotypical stuff. Like, I tried to even include some like vintage cool toys. There's one thing in there, well, it wasn't a vintage, but it was the Mezco Snarf was in the machine that nobody has won, thankfully. My friend Desiree, who started doing, she became a co-host of sorts, because don't get me wrong, people love me, but a lot of people that played would prefer to play with Desiree as opposed to me, which I understand. But whenever we would play each other, she was like, no, I'm getting that Snarf, just because she knows it's mine and it would kill me if someone actually got it. So she was like, no, I'm going to get it. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, and then I would purposely try to move things in the way, so it became like a strategy game, trying to make sure she wouldn't get it and whatnot. But
Snarf is still safe. He is still safe
as of right now. Yes, but that again, so it has been put on hold for a little bit because of other things that have been going on. I do want to continue doing it. I've got to put some more work into the machine right now to get it up and running. But yes, there are plans for future episodes to come out. Hopefully, knock on wood. Hopefully, there is no wood around me, so I can't really knock on it. But hopefully, some more are going to be coming out in the future.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
hey, I got the wood for you over here.
Thank you.
So I actually have one question. Ryan's going to kill me because it might be opening up a box, but we talked on the podcast before about the future of Thundercats. Future of Thundercats. We've talked about how it's been reimagined, and then Thundercats Ho. And we had posed this question: can lightning strike twice? So we've had this question about a movie coming out, more reimagination. What's your thought on that? Is Thundercats the original just that's it? Or, there's a lot of remakes, for all different movies.
I do believe that it can strike again, because honestly, I think like the 2011 series, I was a huge fan of that 2011 series. I know not everyone was, and I know it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. And yes, there were things that happened in it that I wouldn't have done, but that doesn't matter. It wasn't my project. Like I say, it's a reimagining. But I think, like, I know with the movie coming out, I know Adam Wingard, this is a passion project for him, which gives me a lot of hope with what he's doing, because it's not supposed to be a reimagining. It's supposed to be like almost a continuation from the original, series. I do think it can happen. Again, because Thundercats fans are that passionate. Like, again, this one may draw me some heat. I like Thundercats Roar for what it was. It was fun. I understand why people didn't like it. I understand,
at first, I will say I saw the trailer and I was like, what did they do? Like, oh my God, I was so offended. But if you actually watch the episodes, and I feel like a lot of fans didn't, there are jokes in there that only a 1980s, 85 Thundercats fan would know and say. So it's a real love from that.
Exactly. Like, they really did. They put their homework in, or whatever it was, whether it was homework, whether they were fans, whatever it was, they did their homework on that series. And like you said, there were jokes in it that only the diehard fans would know, but a lot of people didn't give it a chance. So that was, I think, the major reason why that one just went the way it did. But I do think, and now I don't know, I don't know what it is with Warner Brothers. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of things we don't know behind the scenes, as far as there might be red tape on this person owns this. This is why we can't do this. We can't do this. There's a lot of things we can't do. We don't know how that works. You know what I mean? There could be a lot of that type of stuff that's been preventing a lot of Thundercats stuff to be put out. We don't know. I don't know. Like,
I know just from our personal, matter of fact, David's wearing one of the shirts we try to release, our Mumra Bungler, as we refer to our listeners.
That's
WB
awesome.
got that. It was the first day. They were like, oh, no, WB copy stripe. And it was actually original artwork that we did too.
Yeah,
so
right.
They're on it. WB is on it.
Exactly. Like, and again, there might be reasons for that, for all we know. You know what I mean? Like, so that might be one of the reasons, because again, like He-Man, Ninja Turtles, Transformers, there was always the new reiteration coming out. That's what really kept it alive.
Yeah.
But Thundercats has been limited. And I will, again, with the 2011 series, I don't think it was the show's fault. I think there was other factors that caused it to not go the way it should have.
I think the toys were horrible. I mean, I bought them, but I thought they were horrible. They were this small, and they were nothing compared to the LJN line.
Oh, not at all. Like the toy line, even the release of the toy line. I collected all of them myself.
Yeah.
I would drive to like 7 Walmarts, and one of those Walmarts would have them. So like, even if you were
and it would be Lionel Mumra.
Yeah. But like, if you were a kid and you wanted those toys, or you're the parent of the kid that wants the toys, you couldn't find them. Like you couldn't get your kid into it because you just couldn't find them anywhere. And then the show itself, like, all right, so at first it seemed like it was going to be targeted to like our age group, but also younger. It's going to be Friday night, 8:00, prime time thing. Then out of nowhere, it was changed to like Saturday morning.
Yes, without
and then
warning.
No one knew. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, well, here's the thing. I want to watch it and I can't find it. So where is it? Then it would be like 8:30 or 9, whatever time. I don't remember the times. But like, so even the fans couldn't find it. So I think there were some factors outside of that had nothing to do with the show that made that one not go that well.
I agree.
So
totally
I do
agree.
think if something, I hope it's the movie. I really do have, I've got high hopes in what Adam Wingard is going to put together, because it's a passion project. Just like the book was very much a passion project for me. I think, like, because he's wanted to do it for years. So, and the fact that he's doing it, I've got high hopes for it, and I think it could become, is it going to become the next Marvel universe? Probably not. Could it become another good movie and another 1 or 2 movies? I think it could. I really do. Like, the ideas are solid. Like, the characters are there. You already have an existing fan base. So if you can tap into a younger fan base or other fans,
yes,
it's there. Like, and one of the things with Thundercats, it bumped He-Man, again, I said it, from the #1 spot. Everyone remembers Thundercats. And whether you're a diehard fan or whatever it is, like when people say Thundercats, ho, everybody knows that.
That's true.
Like, everyone.
That's true.
Like, you'll be, oh yeah, no, I remember that. And they all remember they had the toys at some point, or they had a couple. If you can tap into those people, then there's a even larger audience out there that'll be like, yeah, I want to take my kids to go see that. Or like, yeah, I want to go see that. Like, it's possible. I don't know how it will be done or if it will be done, but I do think it's possible.
And if it will be, I think he said it was going to be a combo of live, like CGI cartoon, live action or something like that. We still don't even know.
Yeah, like, I'm very curious to see what it goes into there. Like, here's the one thing I've always thought is a live action Thundercats might be awful. Like, it'd be very hard to pull that off right. It pains me to say that because of how much I love Thundercats. But it would be, unless you have Disney money, you're not going to be able to pull that off, like, with the looks and everything. And, I mean, Warner Brothers has money, I know, but we're in a day and age where movie studios don't necessarily take shots like they used to. You know what I mean? Like, they can't put the money into that type of stuff where it'd be like, this is going to be a $100 million or these days, $300 million shot in the dark. They just don't do that anymore. Which I understand. Hey, money's tight for everybody, even the movie studio. So I get it. So doing a live action one would be really hard. So from what the last I heard, it was going to be a cartoon CGI type thing, which I think would be a decent way to go. I
think so too. I think that's the way.
100%. Like, that's the way I think it could work. And now what that means or what his ideas are, because he says he has like an idea for like a hybrid type of thing. My interest is piqued. I would love to see what he has in mind. Like, the fact that it's a passion project and not a guy that was just hired to do a thing.
Yeah,
he's just kind of, That's why I've got hope. And I do believe, again, I know this has been a very long-winded answer to your question.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I think the lightning could strike twice again. I definitely do. Or three times, because I think 2011 series, it struck kinda.
Yeah, it was a little strike, right? Like
yeah. But so the guy that had it in the bottle dropped the bottle. That's how I'll put the 2011 series. It struck, he had it, and then fumbled it.
I always say, like, my biggest takeaway from that show is by the last episode when it was canceled, they still didn't even have the cat insignia on their clothes yet. They were just blank. So I was just like, okay. Yeah. But I think David is always famously on the show. He says it could be like Cats the movie, the musical. That's what he's always
we don't want Cats the musical. I'm afraid.
Okay, thank God you said you don't want that, because I would have been like, oh, David, I don't know, man. If you were saying that's what you want, I'm like,
no. I'm thinking more like Avatar meets Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, like something like that would be very cool.
Something like that would be pretty amazing.
I would definitely be on board to see that, like, because it would, again, I'm very interested to see what he's got, because I think it could be really cool. I really do. Obviously, that's the fan in me talking. I don't know how the movie studio feels. They may be like, listen, man, I don't know. But I think it could definitely be, again, if it's a hybrid of like Into the Spider-Verse and the Avatar type, where it's not really live action, it's CGI, but it's kind of live action because they are in the costume actually acting. It could be a very cool hybrid of whatever it is. It'd be very interesting. That'd be a great way to jumpstart the franchise again as well, you know?
Yes. Even get people to revisit the classic cartoon.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Which is, I think, the ultimate goal, I feel like. Get everyone to remember. Put it back on TV.
Right? Like, this is good going back. Do you remember when it was on Adult Swim? Like, like the very first, like, even so, the original series, and then even when they did the 2011 series, fans loved it. Like, it wasn't the original, one of the original shows on Adult Swim. When Adult Swim was on at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, they did Toonami at some time, and
Toonami,
then they
that's
did
what
have
it was Toonami, not Adult Swim. Yeah, Toonami.
But it was, I remember I was in 5th grade, 4 o'clock. Or something like that. It was 4, and I ran home to make sure, like, please, I can't miss Thundercats.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it came on, and it was great. And then they did it with the 2011 series. It was on at like a midnight on Saturdays, and it did great. So again, like, when people remember and it's on TV somewhere, they're watching. You know, like that's all I'm saying. They are watching. I don't know. Obviously, again, I don't know how those licensing deals work. Like Toonami you may license it for a year, so that's why it was on for a year and then it wasn't on anymore. Like, I don't know how that stuff works.
So Sean, thank you so much for this. Like I was saying, even David and I were talking off camera. If you ever wanted to come on, and because we do double episodes, of the actual cartoon, if you want to come on and just discuss the episodes with us and review like we do, we would love that as well.
I'm 100% down. As you can see, I love talking Thundercats. I've been talking your ears off here. And again, well, here, I'll say, are there any questions that you had that I haven't answered in my
I feel like I want to save some of these now for a possible part 2, because my goodness, you touched on basically, and you hit things that even we were thinking of with just saying it. So you were right on point when you were talking.
Oh, okay, perfect.
We'll definitely have all of Sean's links in the description, but do you have a preference for how people reach you?
Not really. I know, like, I'm mostly active on Instagram and Facebook. And even more so Instagram than Facebook. So through there is fine. You obviously emailing me, you can email me. I always get back to everybody. But yeah, Instagram is usually my go-to, because Facebook, while it's nice, there's also the very eye roll part of Facebook where there's not. So I am there. You can get me on there, but yeah, no. I am on Twitter, but I very barely use Twitter. Like, it's I have it, but I don't know why I have it. But yeah, Instagram is probably the best way to get at me. Also, again, like, I know there's the Thundercats Toy Guide page. There's also my personal page. You can feel free to hit me up on either of them, or my collection page. I
We love that. That will be that will be here or wherever this is, wherever you're here in the description. Right. You'll have those pages because those are gorgeous.
Thank you very much. I'm currently working on getting better photos for some of that stuff. That's why, again, there's a lot of stuff all over the place in my current collection room.
You're busy. You're doing it. You're living it. You're living the dream, as they say, right?
I'm trying. You know.
So again, this beautiful book. If there's actually going to be copies available, we won't know. But please try to find, if you can, Hall of Omens, the unofficial ultimate guide to Thundercats Toys and Beyond. We're not just saying this. It is the ultimate guide. There is nothing compared to this. Even in a magazine back in the day when they had a toy guide maybe for Thundercats, this blows everything out of the water. The passion, the love, the photographs, everything. So please look for Sean's book. Follow him on his Instagrams. Multiple, we'll have them. And
yes, the whole bunch of them.
We truly, Sean, we look forward to having you back again. Like you said, we would love to have you on for episodes of the cartoon side of things.
I'm definitely down. Just we'll talk.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll message you in on Instagram too and discuss it. We have like the months and the episodes planned out, so we can definitely show you if there's anyone that goes, oh yeah, I like those episodes.
Well, I don't know if you've got, because I know you're saying what season you're on right now, but I'll say Captain Cracker is my favorite villain. So I don't know. I don't know if you've already done
Captain Cracker episode coming up. Actually,
that's what. Yeah. So I don't. If you did it already, I get it. But I know I have him tattooed on my arm here. You probably can't really see it.
Holy
I can't quite bend right. There he is. But yeah. I love Captain Cracker. So
I'm writing that down, Captain Cracker.
And he had that episode where Chilla's flirting with a bit. So I'm just saying, if you're not busy that day, I can definitely come around for that.
That's definitely.
We would love it.
Write it down. I know exactly the episode you're talking about.
Yeah.
So thank you again, everyone, for listening to this. Of course, you can find our normal episodes every other week when we're not doing regular Radical Retro episodes. We're doing those Thundercats reviews. Sean, this has been amazing. So thank you again.
Pleasure.
That's all we keep saying. Thank you.
No, I would like to thank both of you. Thank you both. Thank you for everyone watching and listening, or whatever it is you're doing with this. Really appreciate it. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for having me on. And I know you were one of the first people to actually reach out to actually say, hey, would you like to be on this? So I can't.
I'm so glad you wanted to. I did it just to this is so cool. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I mean, it meant a lot to me because honestly, I think you may have been the first people to hit me up about that, and I just can't thank you enough for that. Like, that was just very meaningful because, wow, people care about the book, so it was very cool. So again, thank you for having me on, and I can't wait to do this again in the future.
Wonderful.
Thank you. So again, check out Sean's links. The book will be in the description, and we will see you next time, Thundercats fans. Ho.
Attention Thundercats fans, prepare for the ultimate thrill with Hall of Omens, the unofficial ultimate guide to Thundercats Toys and Beyond. Embark on a global journey to unearth rare Thundercats figures from every corner of the world. Read the untold stories from brilliant minds behind the iconic Thundercats franchise, like Larry Kenny, Peter Lawrence, Jim Meskimen, and many more. Explore over 220 pages containing 2,000 plus captivating photos and uncover all the secrets of the Thundercats toys. Become the ultimate Thundercats expert and secure your copy of Hall of Omens, the unofficial ultimate guide to Thundercats Toys and Beyond today at ThundercatsToyGuide.com. Thundercats Hall